Galileo Galilei, a young mind ablaze with curiosity. In the heart of Renaissance Italy, amidst the vibrant city of Pisa, a child was born who would one day shake the very foundations of science. Galileo Galilei, born on February 15, 1564, entered a world rich with art, music, and intellectual awakening. Yet, as the eldest son in a family of modest means, his life was never meant to be easy. His father, Vincenzo Galilei, a gifted musician and a fierce thinker, filled their home with melodies and debates. He questioned traditional beliefs in music, much like his son would one day challenge the very heavens. His mother, Giulia Ammannati, carried the weight of their struggles with silent resilience, hoping that her son would secure a stable future, far from the uncertainties of artistry and radical thought. From an early age, young Galileo was a child unlike any other. He was not content with simply accepting the world as it was. He needed to understand it. His sharp eyes roamed the skies, his hands toyed with objects, and his mind was a restless sea of questions. Why did objects fall the way they did? Why did the stars shine so steadily? What hidden forces governed the universe? These thoughts consumed him even as he played in the winding streets of Pisa. But life was not kind to dreamers. Though his family had noble ancestry, their financial situation was precarious. His father, burdened by the weight of providing for his children, urged young Galileo toward a practical career: medicine. Becoming a doctor was a path to stability, and Vincenzo, with all his love, could not bear the thought of his son struggling as he had. At just 10 years old, Galileo was sent away to the monastery of Santa Maria di Vallombrosa, a serene yet strict environment nestled in the Tuscan hills. The boy found solace in the quiet halls, enchanted by the rhythm of learning. The monks nurtured his intellect, and for a time, Galileo himself considered joining their sacred order. The thought of devoting his life to the pursuit of knowledge under God's watchful eyes filled him with a sense of purpose. But fate had other plans. His father, upon discovering his son's religious inclinations, panicked. A life in the church meant no wealth, no legacy, only silent devotion. With a heavy heart, Vincenzo tore Galileo from the monastery and steered him back toward a respectable future. In 1581, at 17 years old, Galileo arrived at the prestigious University of Pisa, reluctantly stepping onto the path of medicine. But the sterile world of anatomy and herbs failed to ignite his soul. Instead, his heart beat faster in the presence of mathematics, physics, and the works of ancient thinkers like Archimedes. He spent hours engrossed in Euclid's geometry, thrilled by the way numbers could explain the mysteries of the world. Then came the moment that changed everything. One day, as he sat in the Grand Cathedral of Pisa, his eyes fell upon a lamp swaying gently from the ceiling. Others saw it as mere decoration, but Galileo saw a question. Did the time of each swing remain constant, no matter how wide or narrow the arc? His pulse quickened. He timed it against his own heartbeat and discovered the principle of the pendulum. This realization would one day revolutionize timekeeping itself. Emboldened, he could no longer deny the truth. Medicine was not his calling. Science was. He defied expectations, abandoned his medical studies, and devoted himself to mathematics and physics, despite the uncertainty and disappointment it would bring to his family. Galileo's professors frowned upon his defiance. To them, he was reckless, too eager to challenge authority. But the fire in his mind could not be extinguished. He devoured the works of Aristotle, yet questioned them fearlessly. He conducted experiments, built instruments, and honed his ability to see beyond what tradition dictated. By the time he left university, without a degree, but with a mind sharpened like a blade, Galileo was ready to embark on a journey that would shake the heavens themselves. He had no idea that his quest for truth would bring him both immense glory and devastating trials. But for now, in the quiet moments of his youth, he was simply a man enchanted by the wonders of the universe, a dreamer who refused to be bound by the limits of his time. This version captures the emotion, struggles, and wonder that shaped Galileo's early years. Galileo Galilei's life was a relentless struggle against ignorance, dogma, and the oppressive weight of authority. His mind burned with an insatiable curiosity, his heart beat with the courage to challenge centuries-old beliefs, and his soul longed for truth. Yet the world he lived in was not ready for his vision. From the moment he turned his telescope to the heavens, he saw a universe that defied the teachings of the church. He discovered moons dancing around Jupiter, proving that Earth was not the center of all creation. He watched Venus wax and wane like the moon, confirming that it orbited the sun. These revelations should have been celebrated as triumphs of human intellect, yet they were met with fury and condemnation. The church, wielding its power like a sword, branded his discoveries as heresy. The very institution that claimed to seek divine truth refused to acknowledge the evidence written in the stars. Galileo, once a respected scholar, became a target of persecution. His books were banned, his ideas silenced, and his voice, once filled with confidence, began to tremble under the weight of oppression. But Galileo was not a man who could be easily broken. He stood before the Inquisition, his body frail, but his spirit unyielding. They forced him to recant his findings, to deny what his own eyes had seen. In that moment, the world may have believed that the church had won. But as legend has it, Galileo muttered under his breath, "Eppur si muove," and yet it moves. Even in defeat, he clung to the truth. His final years were spent in house arrest, a prison without walls, but no less cruel. The universe, which had once felt so vast and filled with possibilities, shrank to the confines of a lonely room. His eyesight failed, his body withered, yet his mind never ceased to soar beyond the limits placed upon him. He continued to write, to explore, to dream, his spirit defying the chains that bound him. In 1642, Galileo took his last breath, abandoned by the world that should have honored him. Yet, death could not silence the echoes of his discoveries. Centuries later, the very institution that condemned him admitted its mistake. His name, once whispered in fear, became a symbol of courage, reason, and the unyielding power of knowledge. Galileo Galilei was not just a man of science. He was a warrior of truth, a beacon in the darkness, and a testament to the unbreakable spirit of human curiosity. His struggle was painful, his suffering immense, but in the end, he triumphed, not through force, but through the undeniable brilliance of his mind.